Members, I'm happy you left me the last 30 minutes to talk. Not really. I just want to remind you that if you think that we cannot see what's happening, it's clear with the efforts of what's been going on all across the United States that there is a collective right to vote under attack, and our democracy is under attack. We have a right as a citizen, and that right is a constitutional right, the right that is embedded in our Constitution, that each one of us have a right to vote. I walked out of this chamber. I know some of y'all got PO'd. I walked out, but I didn't walk off. And I walked off because I came back to take part in what was left of the discussion of this bill. I remember poll taxes, not just because my grandmother had to pay poll taxes because she was black, and poll taxes then was charged so that schools would be supported. It was not tied to the right to vote. And I remember very much the fact that she had to save up pennies and nickels. She couldn't afford to save quarters because she was only making $2 a week. And she had to go a considerable distance to vote because she was black, and there was no convenient polling place in our community where she could cast her vote. And they dare not allowed her to go to a white polling place because of her ethnicity. When I became of age to vote, I had to buy a poll tax to cast my vote. And you know, poll tax became unconstitutional, but Texas did not get rid of the poll tax until 1966. And my first grade classmate passed a law when she became a member of this body, Representative Emma Allen, to remove that from our Constitution. You all are familiar, maybe you're not, that African Americans had to pass a literacy test. And we usually have to talk about, be able to count how many beans, guess how many beans was in a bag. That was a part of the literacy test. It may be fun to some of you, but it wasn't fun to us, because during that particular time, we had the right, a constitutional right in this country as an American, not to be tested, but to be able to cast our vote like everyone else. But it didn't happen. I know that you talk about this bill, and I was on the committee. We heard the testimony the first time, we heard the testimony the second time, and I've heard people say that this bill does not have anything to do with top side or bottom, denying people the right to vote. You know, I've heard that. But I also recognized when Souls of the Polls came out, you know, when we passed last session to let people be able to buy beer at 10 o'clock in the morning, but you had to wait till 1 o'clock to go if you was in the African-American community predominantly, because Souls of the Polls was not a white person's thing. It was something that was akin to the black community, because we left the church to go from the church to the polling place, and it was set off until 1 a.m. But since nobody knew why that got into the bill, it came out. Good. But I believe that people who write these laws know how to put things in the laws They know how to write it in such a way until it doesn't appear as though it has an impact or effect on a particular segment of our society. And it's really, in a sense, a bully's way of writing the laws, because people have a right, and we know democracy is the majority rules, but we also rules because they're supposed to be for liberty and justice for all. And we get bullied all the time. I got bullied once, several times. And y'all know why that I can be a little bitchy? It's because of the fact that I have learned, Brooks, since I was 2 years old, that I had to be a little warrior. If I didn't want my rear kicked by somebody and always being picked upon, I had to be able to stand up and fight back. And that's why that I have to always believe that there are good things in people, but every now and then, that when the little bulliness comes out, there's a necessity to stand up and fight back. Only thing I want to remind you of is this. Although you did not allow some of us minor changes, you largely did what you wanted in this bill. You kept changing the bill in the dark, and you backed off agreements that we had from time to time that you made with some of us. But make no mistake, this is your bill, your idea, and you would be responsible for the consequences. And ladies and gentlemen, today is the birthday of Lyndon Baines Johnson. We have asked for years to give us the ballot. We have asked to be inclusive. I'm asking you today, when are you going to allow all of us to be counted as Americans, to be able to take the Constitution, as some of you are able to do, take so much for granted? And if you think that you're winning today by the things that you have put in this bill, let me give you a prophetic statement. You will reap what you sow. And you know what? It won't be years or decades from now. It'll be sooner than you think.